Well, the Prime Minister has brushed off the leaking of more damaging text messages, saying he couldn't care less what people say about him. His comments come after the Deputy Prime Minister, Barnaby Joyce, was forced to issue an apology for a message he sent last year, calling Scott Morrison a hypocrite and a liar. For more, let's cross to political reporter Jane Norman in Canberra. Hi there, Jane. Now, this is the first time we've heard from Mr Morrison since the Barnaby Joyce text was leaked, but as we just said in our introduction there, he's pretty much well just shrugged it off.
Yeah, he sure has. So this story has just broken over the past couple of days, and it was revealed, as you mentioned, that in March last year, Barnaby Joyce, who was then sitting on the backbench, sent a text message to former Liberal staffer Brittany Higgins in which he described Scott Morrison as a hypocrite and a liar. Well, yesterday, Mr Joyce was forced to front the media where he apologised unreservedly to Scott Morrison for that. He said he should never have written the text, but he also said that he'd sent the text at a time when he didn't know Mr Morrison well, and he says that since taking up the role of Deputy Prime Minister, he's worked closely with Scott Morrison and has changed his view. That's what Barnaby Joyce said. It should be noted, though, that Mr Joyce and Mr Morrison have been in federal parliament together for 15 years in the coalition together. They've also served in the cabinet together before rising to their respective roles. But nevertheless, that was what Mr Joyce has said. Scott Morrison, for his part, says he forgives his Deputy Prime Minister, and appearing today at an event called I Forgive Day, Scott Morrison noted that all humans, he says, can become bitter and angry. That's understandable, but in his view, what's important is what he's managed to achieve with Barnaby Joyce by his side as Deputy Prime Minister. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
I Forgive Day is all about understanding human frailty. Human frailty. It's real. We all share it. We all live with it. And we all need to be more understanding of it. And politicians are no different to people watching me now, people asking me questions now, people anywhere around the country. We all need to be more understanding of each other in that way, and that's certainly the approach that I adopt, especially with my colleagues.
So, Jane, Scott Morrison said that he and Barnaby would be getting on with it, which is exactly what he'll be doing this week as he prepares for the return of Parliament. But this leaked text message really caps off a fairly torrid week for him.
Yeah, it does. And I think the reason is that this text message once again calls Scott Morrison's character into question. And what Mr Joyce has said in this text, which of course he's apologised for, but what he's said in this text is what Mr Morrison's political opponents have been saying for some time. And so it's really being, exploited by the Labor Party, as you would as the political opponents. The line that they're now running is the people who know Scott Morrison trust him the least. And if that is a perception that really sticks in the community, sticks with voters, then Mr Morrison has a big task ahead of him to turn that around. And of course, we're heading into the first sitting fortnight of the year, and there's just a sort of a sense of chaos really surrounding the coalition. Scott Morrison will be confronting some backbenchers of his who are protesting still against vaccine mandates, and they're threatening to derail the government's agenda. The coalition party room is really divided over contentious laws to enshrine religious freedoms. And then we're 4 months out from an election, and the New South Wales Liberal Party is sort of embroiled in factional warfare, which means that a number of key seats in New South Wales still don't have Liberal candidates chosen to contest them. So, it looks like a fairly sort of untidy spectacle from the sidelines, and it could prove to be a fairly dramatic fortnight for the Prime Minister.
Dramatic and tough, I'm sure. Jane Norman, many thanks.